Today, I'm going to be showing you how I lost 65 pounds of pure body fat in under 6 months and how you can do the same. Now, as you can see from the left image, I was obviously a fat piece of shit. I was 215 pounds, I was low energy, I had low testosterone. I actually got some blood work done at the time of this image, and I was about 400 nanograms per deciliters of testosterone. So I had some really unoptimal hormones. And I mean, I say testosterone, but really, like, I had a bunch of other hormones that were jacked up, like my luteinizing hormone, my SHBG, my estradiol, all that stuff. It was all out of whack. And it was because of my lifestyle. So from this image on the right, you can see I am now 156 pounds, way more shredded. And, I would say that I'm starting to get into the territory where you can classify me as jacked. But obviously that's arguable. So I'm 156 pounds, like some people might say that I'm molestable. But hey, I look way better than I looked over here. And I'm not done at all because once I am done with my shredding phase, I'm going to be going into a very long lean bulk. And that's when I will definitely be jacked. So now you might be asking the question, how did I do this? And how did I do it in 6 months? Because you might be like telling yourself already, oh, this is all just a calorie deficit. Have high protein, 1 gram per body weight. Eat vegetables, eat chicken breast, eat all of this bullshit. I'm going to tell you right now, that is very wrong. And here in these 5 images, I'm going to explain to you what my lifestyle and daily routine is so that you can also get results just like this. If you want to lose body fat and get shredded without having to look like a skinny fat idiot like I did over here, you're gonna have to boost your testosterone because the main reason why people are skinny fat in the first place is because you have low testosterone. Like you can see here, I have like puffy nipples, I have love handles, and I mean I'm not like fat. I'm not obese like per se, but I was 215 pounds and I'm only 5'9". So I'm like relatively average height. But the reason why have this like shape in my body is because my testosterone was horrible. And this is way more prominent when you're going through puberty because if your testosterone is low during puberty, then you're just fucking yourself. I'm 23 years old now and I still have like issues with my body that I can't really reverse, all because I had low testosterone during puberty. So if you're someone that's like 16 years old right now watching this, you need to stay here and you need to implement all 5 of these pillars into your lifestyle if you don't want to be a soy boy in your adulthood. The first of these 5 pillars is going to be sleep. And sleep is arguably the most important of the 5 because if your sleep isn't dialed in, none of these other 5 are really going to make a difference for you. So, what can you do to optimize sleep? Number one, you're going to want to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. This is a non-negotiable. You particularly you want to sit in the 7 range or nine, or sorry, not 7.5 hours of sleep or 9 hours of sleep because your body works in 90-minute REM sleep cycles. So waking up after like 8 hours of sleep could be like in the middle of a REM sleep cycle, and you're just not going to feel like as good compared to if you were to just like wake up at the 7:30 mark or 9 hour mark. The next optimization that you can make is going to be blocking out blue light. And how can you do this? So I'm not asking you to get off of your phone like 2 hours before bed and like not look at a single light, but I don't know if you could already tell from my face, but I'm wearing these like blue light blocking glasses. And these are really good to wear like around 2 hours before bed because they block out 99% of blue light. And oh shit, Subnautica early access. What the fuck? Sorry, I got distracted by a Epic Games notification. Um, where was I? 99% of blue light. Yeah, these glasses block out 99% of blue light, and they're gonna protect your body's natural melatonin production. So I've noticed that every time that I wear these glasses 2 hours before bed, so let's say I put them on at 9 p.m. and once the clock hits 11 p.m., I notice that I'm still getting more tired and more sleepy. So once I'm finally done doing whatever I'm doing, whether that be like more work, or simply just like, doing anything on my computer, like talking to my friends or like playing a video game or something, I'm still getting sleepy and I'm not like chalking my sleep. So once I get off of the computer, I turn off all the lights, take off my glasses, and I can easily go to bed. Now, I know that I said that you can wear these blue light glasses to essentially block out any of the effects of blue light before bed. But one of the other ways that you can optimize your sleep is going to be low cortisol activities, specifically before bed. So this can include things like reading a book or, yeah, essentially anything that's like low stress. Like I've had nights where I'll play like Counter Strike before bed, and if anybody here plays video games, you already know that Counter Strike is a pretty high cortisol game. Like that shit makes me angry. I get like fucking shit teammates, or I play like shit and I just have a bad night. I get off of the game and my mind is like my head is pounding. I'm fucking angry. Like that's not gonna I'm not gonna have good quality sleep for that night if I get off the game and immediately try to go to bed. You're gonna want to unwind. And you can either do this through like meditation or, like I said before, reading, or doing journaling, like writing down your thoughts or writing down like something for your business that you want to implement for the next day, writing down your plan for the next day. This is also just good because, you don't want to do so much consuming in your life, consuming media, consuming games, consuming like just scrolling. It's all consuming. Consume this, consume that. You really want to create something in your life. And the easiest way to create something is going to be by writing down your thoughts in a journal, or writing down a business plan that you want to try. All these things are creation. Or even like, if you're religious, reading the Bible and writing about it, that is creation. And that is going to make your life, your quality of life, much better. And again, in terms of sleep, you're going to lower your cortisol, and it's going to make it easier for you to fall asleep. The next pillar on this list is going to be diet. And this is also one of the top three most important pillars that you need to dial in before you can do the last two. And the first point that I'm going to be making about this one is no goy slop. So what is goy slop, you might be asking? Goy slop is essentially anything that is heavily processed. Anything that you'll find in the freezer that you can microwave and eat, that's goy slop. Or fast food, McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell, all these fast food chains, it's all just fake sludge and you don't want to consume any of it. So you should only be eating whole foods. And there's only six foods that I would recommend that you eat if you really want to optimize your hormones and testosterone and get shredded. And that's going to be meat. And when I say meat, I particularly mean red meat and fish. Fattier fishes like salmon, or well, tuna's not fatty, but it's a really good one as well. But eating anything like cow, lamb, all these ruminant animals, they're going to be super optimal for you. As a matter of fact, you could go your entire life only eating meat and you would be perfectly healthy because meat has every nutrient that you need. But obviously, we don't want to be eating in a restrictive diet, so there's many other foods that you can eat. Eggs is going to be the next food. Eggs are a micronutrient powerhouse. They have a lot of vitamin D, omega 3, choline, which is going to help your brain function, and the list goes on. There's so many nutrients in eggs that you're going to want, and I always eat about 8 eggs a day, and I feel amazing every single day. The next one on this list is going to be fruit. Fruit is really good. It can energize you. Fructose is really good for you, especially when not consuming it from added sugar sources. And that's why raw honey is also good. I know I skipped over raw dairy, but I'll get to that in a second. Raw honey and fruit are really good, especially if you train, like if you're a lifter, a power lifter, or you do combat sports like me. Now, these two are going to be your main source of energy for your training, just like potatoes and rice. Potatoes and rice are also really good sources of energy. I would say potatoes and rice are a little less. Not to say that they're unhealthy, but potatoes and rice, like they're just better for longer sustaining energy. So you don't really want to eat potatoes and rice before a gym session. You want to have it after to replenish your glycogen, and so that you can use those carbohydrates the next day for your next training session. I also have raw dairy on this list. And you might be asking, why not pasteurized dairy? Well, the problem with pasteurized dairy is that the pasteurization process kills a lot of natural bacteria and enzymes found in raw milk. And you might be, looking at me right now and being like, yeah, you're fucking crazy. I'm not going to consume raw dairy. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to die. I mean, all of that is just fear mongering. You can die from any food, like realistically. And if you really look into the studies, you'll see that getting sick from pasteurized dairy is about the same as raw dairy. Like, there's not really that much of an added risk from consuming raw dairy. So, stop being a fucking bitch and just consume your dairy, bro. I would also say that raw dairy isn't really you don't really need it as badly as the other foods, but raw dairy can be used as a gut health supplement essentially because, obviously dairy is better for like younger aged people. So if you're going through puberty, you should drink like a gallon of this shit a day just to maximize your genetics. But if you're like me, you're already 23 and you're an adult, I would limit your raw dairy intake to just 1 cup a day because the main benefit of raw dairy is it can clean up your gut and heal your gut essentially. Because a lot of people nowadays they consume fucking goy slop and they have gut lining issues or they have leaky gut. Raw dairy is a good gut health supplement that can help you with this. The next one on this list is going to be seed oils. And this one kind of bounces off of the no Goislop point, but you're going to want to avoid seed oils at all cost. Seed oils are oils like soybean oil, canola oil, and anything that just comes from a seed, essentially. And you might be asking, like, what about avocado oil? I mean, avocado oil, olive oil, like these are okay, but you even want to be careful with those types of oils as well because when you heat them past a certain temperature, it can ruin their omega 3 to 6 ratio and essentially turn them into a PUFA, which is a polyunsaturated fatty acid. And that's not what you want. So that's why I always tend to just cook all of my foods in beef tallow or ghee because both of those oils can handle higher heat. So whenever I make a steak or something, I'll always use oil to on my pan first before throwing on my steak instead of something like olive oil or avocado oil because those are like technically healthier oils, but when you heat them up, they essentially turn into these bad seed oils like canola. Obviously not like 1 to 1, right? Like, oh my god, I just turned my avocado oil into canola oil. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. But it can throw off the omega 3 to 6 ratio. The last point on this list is going to be clean water. You want to make sure that the water that you're drinking is coming from clean sources. I would say that the best water you can drink is going to be spring water because spring water is like very hydrating, has a high pH balance, and has all these minerals inside of it that can hydrate you. Then one below this is going to be reverse osmosis water. Reverse osmosis water is also really good. However, because of how filtered it is, it doesn't really hydrate you as much. So if you're going to be drinking reverse osmosis water, you're going to want to remineralize it with sea salt. My favorite salt to use is going to be Redmond sea salt. It has a lot of good lot of good natural minerals inside of it that you can essentially just sprinkle into your water, and it'll have the same hydrating effect as spring water. Because spring water is really expensive, especially when you want to avoid plastics like I do, it can come out to like $2 per liter of water, which can get pretty expensive over time. So if you want to avoid this big expense, just drink reverse osmosis water and remineralize it yourself. You don't want to be drinking water from the tap. That's horrible. There's so much bullshit in tap water that can destroy your testosterone and your health overall. I mean, most, especially if, or even if you're using like a Brita filter or like regular filters off of the street, if you work a corporate job like me, you'll see those like filtered water stations. Those do not get the birth control that women pee into our water system. They do not get those out. Like, so they'll say that they get rid of all these heavy metals and everything, but it does not clean out the birth control that women are peeing into our water. So, and you don't want to be taking birth control, but when you drink that type of water, that's essentially what you're doing. And that is one of the main causes of people getting gyno or being skinny fat is that they're drinking this water every single day. and it's actively lowering their testosterone and essentially feminizing them. So, reverse osmosis water and spring water only. The next point that I'm going to be making is training. Training is very important because if you're sedentary the whole day, like, what's the fucking point? What are you doing with your life? The first point that I have on here is like high testosterone sports. So these can include anything like combat sports, football, soccer. I could make another video about why these sports are high testosterone sports and like maybe do like a tier list. But for now, yeah, just trust me, bro. Progressive overload. Progressive overload in the gym is really important if you are a lifter. So you should always be pushing weight, pushing reps. This is going to force you to kind of like be in a state of mind where it's like, oh, I have to improve every single day. Somehow, like, like even if you can't even lift heavier weights, you got to add a rep, add one more rep from last week, and that's going to keep you getting stronger. It's going to force your body to like kind of compete with itself, and even your mindset. You're going to be like, I have to be better than how I was last week or something like that. Training heavy compounds is also really good for testosterone because you're using your entire body, especially something like squats. I know squats can be kind of bad for your lower back, but I really like doing Zercher squats. And essentially, it's like, shit, let me show you guys in the fucking camera, right? But like, you have like the fucking bar right here on your forearms, and you're just fucking squatting, You're squatting like this, you have all the fucking weight on your forearms. I actually recently just hit 315 pounds in the Zercher squat. That's just fucking insane, bro. Like, it's 2 times my body weight. I think that's a pretty big achievement. And yeah, it's just a fucking big ass test boost every single week that I do it. Cause every week I'm like, yo, I gotta push a rep. I gotta push like 5 pounds on this shit. Like I gotta add something. I gotta get better than how I was last week. And every fucking week I have like bruises on my forearms because of all the weight just being on my forearms. And I just think that shit's fucking sick, you know. It also makes me better at like jujitsu because it makes me stronger, so I can grapple with heavier people. And yeah, I think it's great. Um, Also 6 to 8 reps. 6 to 8 reps is like probably the optimal rep range for testosterone maxing, because anything more like you're kind of just wearing out your muscles. And I've felt that I've become the strongest in this 6 to 8 rep range. This mainly applies to heavy compounds though. So if you're doing like a machine, I think going like 10 to 12 reps is actually like pretty okay. Especially because like you're only isolating a certain muscle, so you're not really like um what's it called, tiring out your whole body like if you're doing a heavy compound. So I would say 6 to 8 reps for compounds. Um, 10 to 12 reps on machines is okay. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with going high reps on machines, but for compounds, you always want to stick into the 6 to 8 rep range. Also, only doing 15 to 18 sets is optimal because that's all your body really needs to grow muscle. I mean, studies have already has always shown that like anything above 18 working sets for your entire workout, it's kind of just junk volume. Like you're not even really like growing muscle after 18 sets. And people always think that like, oh, I gotta work more, be in the gym for 3 hours. Like no, like if you're in the gym for longer than 1.5 hours, like I don't know what you're doing. Like you're just wasting your time. Training to failure. Training to failure is going to be insane for your testosterone because this kind of goes hand in hand with like progressive overload because you're always trying to push yourself, like push your limits, You want to add a rep, you want to add some weight. And this is hard. It's really hard, So you're going to naturally be going to failure. Now, I wouldn't say go to failure on every single set. I think ideally, so if you're doing a workout and you're doing 3 sets of it, you want to start from like the higher weight to go and then lower, like a reverse pyramid type of thing. So like if I'm doing the bench, what I would normally do is I would do my warm up. So like one plate, 135 pounds, do like 10 quick easy reps, and then maybe one light working set. So like I'm not burning myself out, and then I would go to my peak weight, whether that be my high working set or if I'm gonna go for a PR. Then after hitting my PR or whatever the hell I'm doing with like the max set, I would drop down to my working to I would drop down to like a good working set and then push to failure on that because you want to add more reps, and then once you've done that, then you go for a drop set. That's for compounds. If you're doing a machine, you just want to like you're probably already warmed up by that point from the previous workouts. So you just want to go straight into the heavyweight. Go to the heavyweight, drop down, go for reps, go to failure, and then go to failure again on the drop set. And then that's when you want to do like 10 to 12 reps or even up to like 15. So that's what I would say is like the most optimal way of training. Um, but there's many different ways. It really depends from person to person. But this is what I've seen the most progress with, as well as people that I've worked with, because I have 3 clients and they've seen immense results by doing this type of methodology. The next 2 points that I have on here is lifestyle maxing and biohacking. And the reason why they're at the bottom is because these other three are actually like 10 times more important than these two, because these are kind of like going to be more like getting into the nitty gritty of things and hyper optimization. But none of these two matter if your other three aren't locked in. Like if you have bad sleep or a bad diet or bad training, like these aren't really going to help you that much. So you want to make sure that you dial in these three before you even think about going into these two. The first point that I have on lifestyle is going to be morning sunlight and early hydration. When you wake up, you are usually pretty dehydrated. Like I know like most people wake up and then they go for their fucking water bottle and they just start chugging that shit, you know. You don't really want to do that. What you really want to do the first thing when you wake up is you want to have some sort of hydrating water. So like if you have reverse osmosis water, just chugging reverse osmosis water isn't really going to help you. But if you have like Baja Gold sea salt, you can sprinkle some of that into your water and that's going to really hydrate you. And you don't have to chug it. Just have like maybe 3 cups at the most upon waking up, but slowly drink it. Or even better, have spring water. Spring water is going to be probably the best thing you can do for yourself, aside from it being like pretty expensive. But reverse osmosis and Baja Gold sea salt, that's a good way to cut costs in that sense. The next thing is going to be morning sunlight. I mean, this is the first point, but you know, right upon waking up, you're going to want to go straight into the sun, blast your eyelids with sunlight. Don't get it directly in your eyeball. I mean, I'm not telling you to go fucking stare at the sun, but I'm telling you to just get morning sunlight. Let it hit your eyelids. That's going to reset your circadian rhythm, so it's going to make it easier for you to fall asleep later at night. So these two are going to be very important. You're also going to want to like not look at your phone after waking up, because blasting all that blue light first thing in the morning is going to ruin your dopamine receptors. So you're going to like everybody has a predefined dopamine like tank. So instantly looking at your phone upon waking up is going to deplete a lot of that dopamine from that tank, and you're not going to really want to like work as hard that day. At least that's what I've seen. That's what I've seen in a lot of other people. So obviously this one isn't really backed by like science or anything, but like do it for your do it yourself and tell me the results, because everyone that I've known that's tried this one like has seen a lot of improvement in their life. No phone for 30 minutes before bed. This one is very important, especially if you don't have red light glasses like I had on earlier. But this one's gonna be very important, because if you're using your phone right before bed, again, you're like ruining your dopamine receptors. You're spiking your dopamine, and you're just gonna like be super awake. You're gonna be wired. That's why like people like gamers, like they can't really fall asleep like right away once they get off of the game. Like I know I had this problem a lot. So that's why like when I play video games, like I still try to get off 30 minutes before bed. But if I don't for whatever reason, because I'm that much of a fucking dopamine fiend, I'll wear my glasses and they help me go to sleep. But ideally, you don't want to be using your phone for 30 minutes before bed. Go do something lower cortisol, like reading or something. The next thing on here is going to be 1 hour of sunlight a day, max or minimum. Sorry, not maximum. Sun is really anabolic. Like you get a lot of vitamin D, you get a huge test boost, and your body just looks more aesthetic when you have a tan. So, I mean, this one varies from your skin tone. If you're a whiter person like I was, then 1 hour a day is more than enough. If you're black, then I would suggest 2 hours plus, because you don't really get affected by the sun as much. You have like natural protection because of your dark skin tone. So you're gonna need more sunlight to get enough vitamin D. 10K steps minimum. Steps has been shown to actually boost testosterone. I know there was a study. I need to go find it again. That said that every 1K steps after 8,000 is like roughly a 7 nanograms per deciliter testosterone boost. I don't know how true that is, but I've noticed that I feel really amazing after doing 20K steps every day. It's low cortisol, doesn't require a lot of energy, and you just shred body fat. That's how I've been able to actually, what's it called, eat like 3,000 calories a day while still cutting weight. And as you saw in my initial pictures, I lost over 65 pounds by doing this. So this is going to be a really good one. Steps is very, very, very important. And I think everybody should be getting at least 10,000 steps a day, regardless of your goal. I don't care if you're bulking, cutting, or maintaining, get 10,000 steps a day minimum. This is going to be a big one. The last point that we have is biohacking. And biohacking is essentially making very little like improvements to your life that compound over time. So you can think of it kind of like a retirement account. Because let's say you open up a Roth IRA and you invest like, I don't know, $100 every single month into it. You might be staring at that $100 over time and being like, damn, this shit, it's not growing that fast. But in 30 years, like it grows a shit ton. If you max out your Roth IRA every single year, you're gonna be a millionaire in like, I don't know, 30 years. I don't remember the precise math on that, but that's just a similarity that these two have. Biohacking is kind of the same. You make little changes to your life that will compound over time. So, like removing microplastics from your life. If you're using plastic Tupperware, getting rid of that, swapping it out for glass. Like if you do that, you're not just going to instantly boost your testosterone or your hormonal health right away, or you're not going to get any more jacked or shredded. However, over time, you're going to realize that like, wow, I feel better. I'm not like putting microplastics in my mouth and blah blah blah. It's a very small change to your life that will compound over time. And stacking all of these up will make a huge change in your life. So like in 3 months, I've noticed a big difference after I implemented a lot of biohacking stuff into my life, like the red light glasses, swapping my plastic Tupperware, or swapping my toothbrush because I had a microplastic toothbrush. I swapped it for like a horse bristle toothbrush. It's a little more natural. Swapping my toothpaste, my fluoride toothpaste, and swapping it for like coconut oil and baking soda. So, making all of these changes, it's eventually going to compound in your life, and it's going to make a very big difference the longer that you do these things. So, like again, like I have this point on here, swapping suboptimal objects, like my microplastic toothbrush, or let's see, like my oh yeah, shower with clean water. So I have the shower head from Organic Jaguar. It essentially just filters out all of the chemicals that is in the shower in shower water because there's a lot of chlorine. I believe there's fluoride in it and a bunch of other harmful metals. So the shower head actually it filters it all out. So when I shower, I don't really need to like moisturize my body after. Like my body is just already moisturized. And I've actually tested this before. When you shower with clean water, like with a filter, you don't even need like shampoo or like what's it called or body soap. You don't even need any of that. You just smell clean. Like I've tested this out myself. I'm not saying don't use shampoo or anything because I still do. I use like organic shampoo. I use beef tallow soap, just because I want to feel more clean. But I have tested it before where I only use water to shower, and I smell just perfectly fine. So yeah, biohacking is going to be a very big one. Maybe I'll make more videos on specific biohacking tips that you can implement. But this is just a general overview of how to implement all of these things into your lifestyle so that you can also lose 65 pounds. Well, I don't know. I don't fucking know you. But whatever your goals might be, I promise you that you can do that implementing all five of these things. So yeah, uh, shit. But yeah, that about wraps everything up. Go into your life and implement all five of these things, and I promise you, you will see massive results. But yeah, give me a like, subscribe, and comment what you think I should do more videos on because I only went very briefly into all five of these topics. I can go very in depth on very specific topics like very specific hormones or how to actually biohack and what exactly you should be doing in terms of biohacking, exact morning routines that I do and that I have seen massive results with, how to improve sleep, etc. I can do all of these things, and I have a school community. It'll be in the bio where I'll be having weekly calls with all the members. You can ask me any questions. I'll even be doing presentations on more in-depth topics about this. So yeah, if you found this helpful, definitely give me a like and subscribe. I will see you guys later. Peace.